Hello. So I saw this post recently, and I've seen this meme in a few different places. I'll give you a second to read it. SaaS is dead. OpenClaw replaced all my subscriptions. I went from $480 a month on tools to $1,245 a month on API costs and $15 or 15 hours a week fixing YAML fixes. Adapt or be left behind. Ha 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 ha. It's a meme. But it's also a thing where a lot of people are talking about how they're replacing SaaS and they're replacing all of these tools that exist with tools that they're able to make themselves. And I think that's awesome. I think that it's really cool to be able to build things on your own. I love doing that kind of stuff myself. And I think we're in an interesting era right now of personal software being on the rise, which plenty of people talk about, where you're able to say, okay, if this thing doesn't exist the way I want, I'll just build it myself. I'll use GitHub Copilot. I'll use Claude Code. I'll use all of these tools to just spin up my own server, my own tool. And I mean, I've done that myself, where I've replaced certain like transcription tools with ones that I've built myself, or I've replaced certain productivity tools with things that I've built myself, where it's just something on my computer that works. It's interesting and it's cool, but once again, you have to maintain it now. And that's a very interesting thing where I personally haven't played with OpenClaw very much because I don't want to be a sysadmin. I've liked the ideas historically of self-hosting software and being able to just have things that run on my own personal devices, but I don't want to deal with the IT side of things and the paranoia element of like, if your house burns down, what happens to your backups? Make sure you have a backup at your parents' house or something like that, you know? I recently switched from using my photo storage from Amazon Photos to Entei. And Entei is an open source photo hosting solution. And I blogged about it, and I'll put a link to the blog in the description here. In that blog post, I talked about how I started using Amazon Photos because I worked there. It was free. And so I started using it, but I didn't like a lot of the features in it. I particularly switched to it, yes, because I worked there, but also because my family isn't all in on the Apple ecosystem or on the Google ecosystem. And so I didn't want to copy things across, and Amazon felt neutral, but it just wasn't that good of an app. And also, I didn't like the idea of Amazon having my photos. And so anyway, I kept looking at all of these different open source solutions, all of these different privacy oriented solutions. And I got really close to just buying some devices so that I could self-host a solution. But then that's so much work. It's a pain. And thus, I ended up using Entei, which is a really great open source solution. I highly recommend it. Not paid, but it's something that I actually use. And I keep thinking about that example when I see people talking about using OpenClaw, where it's like, oh, this is my computer that can run all of these different agents for me. We keep seeing all of these stories of it going rogue, and I don't know if you've seen them, but people saying like, I had to run home because it was deleting emails, or I saw it suddenly making PRs on repos that I didn't want it to do, things like that. And there's so many guardrails that you have to put in place in addition to just maintaining the computer. And so that's why I think I'm a little hesitant on doing anything like that sort of self-hosting and that type of building in the personal SaaS era. That being said, there are solutions where I've mentioned in various places on the internet before, I've been playing around with Zoe Computer. I think that's very cool. It's basically OpenClaw, but not something self-hosted. It's something where you have your computer in the cloud and you can connect it to things, and that's been very cool to play with. It's like vibe servering. And there's other solutions out there like that where you can have agents running that you own. There's also just the different hosted agents in the world where you could I sound like a shill. I work at GitHub, but you have the Copilot coding agent, you have the code review agent, you have agent mode running in VS Code. There's all these different coding agents that can do things, but also in the broader Microsoft ecosystem, there's like Foundry where you can make your own agents. I haven't played with it that much yet. Don't tell my boss. Anyway, there's all of these agents and things that exist in the world where it's a thing that can do a task for you. It could replace your SaaS. And I don't know if you want that to happen, but at the same time, it can be a cost saving measure. And I think that ultimately, all this being said, it comes down to the build or buy question, where I've advised a lot of startups in my day, and a build or buy question is a very big thing for large companies and small companies. Do you want to build the solution that you want, or do you want to buy something that just works? And all of the sensational takes of like, SaaS is dead. I've built this myself. Sure. In a lot of cases that can work. In a lot of personal cases that can work, and that's why I think personal software is awesome. But when you start thinking about the maintenance of everything, particularly for your businesses, for your startups, for side projects, for anything that goes beyond just you as an individual, be sure that you want to maintain that. Sure, you can build it, and it's easier than ever to self-host things. It's easier than ever to get things started and running because of all of these AI tools. But at the same time, then you have to maintain it. That gets hairy. And so, all this being said, I don't think SaaS is dead. Sure, SaaS is probably going to be taking a hit because a lot of different tools that might typically be very expensive don't have to be anymore, especially if you're using it for personal use cases. But I still think SaaS is going to be around for a while. Nothing is ever black and white. Some things you might want to build, some things you might want to buy. Some things you might enjoy maintaining, some things you might not. Take all the things you see on the internet with a grain of salt. You can roast me in the comments below. But anyway, that's my take of the day. I'll see you next time. Bye!